Wisp Sports Radio, the voice of women in sport.
Hello, and thank you for downloading The Bolder Woman here on Wisp Sports. This is Season 2, Episode 7, and I'm Chris Stafford. And you can join in the conversation anytime on social media by following us at Wisp Sports. We would love to hear from you.
This is your moment. This is your moment in time. This is your moment. This is your moment to shine, to shine, to shine.
My guest this week is Californian athlete Joy Upshaw, who is a record-breaking long jumper and hurdler who has also spent the past 30 years as a coach. Joan's running career started at Acalanes High School in Lafayette, setting records in hurdles and sprints, and then into college with an All-American career at California State University. Joy continued to set records at USA Masters Track and Field Championships and win competitions internationally. Joy held several American record times in 80-meter hurdles and 300-meter hurdles and the long jump. During the 2016 USA Indoor Masters Nationals Championship, she set the women's 55 to 59 60-meter hurdle world record. In 2018, she lowered her American 80-meter hurdle record at the Masters Outdoor National Championships. And she also won a highly competitive 200-meter final at the Outdoor World Championships last summer in Malaga, Spain. Her most recent honor includes being inducted into the Masters Track Hall of Fame and Master of the Year. Joy has so many more accolades, and her secondary career as a coach has led to her being named the Women's Sprints and Hurdles Coach of the 2010 NACAC Under-23 team, as well as the 2011 Pan American Women's Team Staff for Jumps and Multi-Events in Guadalajara, Mexico, and 2013 Five Nations Match USA Women's Head Coach in Scotland. Joy is head coach and founder and director of Joy's Jackrabbits Track Club for kids to competitive Masters elite athletes. Joy, hi, thank you for joining me.
Thanks so much for having me on your show.
Well, you're a busy woman in track and field these days, and it seems like that was the only path for you in life. Or you're going to tell me that you tried something else, because it seems like a lifetime's commitment to the sport.
Well, I do love the sport of track and field because our family is track and field oriented, but we have had a lot of music in our home too. So we had a lot of music and dance, and I was very involved with dance and dance performance and sort of did that whole thing too. So, yeah.
Yeah, very active life. And I love the story about your father in track and field, because it's clearly, as you say, it's in the genes, that he broke Jesse Owens' National High School long jump record in 1954. Who would have known that?
Mm-hmm. Well, that was really exciting. He was a terrific athlete here in the Bay Area. We're in California, and he went to Piedmont High School, and he was a very good hurdler, also, and jumper. And then he at the high school state meet, he had a fantastic jump of 25.4 1/4, and which did, like you mentioned, did break Jesse Owens' long jump record. And of course he was excited, and at that same meet he also competed with Rafer Johnson in the hurdles, and Rafer won the 110 high hurdles, and my dad won the 180 lows. So having track and field in our family has been really exciting. But with him, he never bragged about it or anything. I never heard about that until my brother and I did get involved in track and field some more. So we're at different track meets, and the officials come up to us and we're saying, wow, we remember your dad's long jumping and his hurdling. And my brother and I was like, what about it? And we remember that we looked in some photo albums, and there was one in particular of my dad jumping and hurdling, but he never like I said, bragged about it or really talked about it or really pushed us into the sport. We sort of came across it ourselves and in question, and it was just super fun to experience it. And then he enjoyed watching us too. And then if we did have a question on something, he would be happy to help us. So, yes.
And what about your mother? Was she an athlete?
Yes, she was. She was very, in those years, though, she was into swimming and she did some synchronized swimming, and she was also the leader of the marching band with her baton and had a lot of fun. And she's more of the musical art side to our family. So that's how we feel that my siblings and myself are balanced in the music and arts and athletics. So, yeah.
Yeah, very, very balanced. Where do you fit in the siblings now? Are you the oldest, youngest?
Yes, I'm the oldest of four. It's my brother, Chip, who was a great long jumper and hurdler himself, and my younger siblings, Mary, spelled Merry, and Grace, which are 12 and 14 years younger than me. But we're all really close, super close, and everybody competed in track and field, and I'm still trying to get my brother to do it. It's a master's thing. He's such a good hurdler still, but he's been really busy with his kids right now. But yeah, so
how many years now? You have to tell everybody how old you are, and how many years you would have been doing track and field then, Joy?
Well, I'm 58 and almost 59, and this is the best thing with masters track and probably masters all sports is that there are age groups, and it's always fun to get older. And I remembered my mom even saying that when I was turning 40, that she said, "Oh my gosh, you're going to be 40. I can't wait. I can't wait to be 50, and I can't wait to be 60." And it's just great, and it's just fun to have this very healthy lifestyle and compete and have fun and make friends and just continue this terrific sport that we have.
Well, you must have a jumps, the horizontal and the vertical jump in your genes, right? Because you're all jumpers. How was it you decided to go hurdling then and choose the long jump?
Yeah, well, the hurdles were natural to me, and my dad said, "Wow, how can you just hurdle so fluidly immediately?" And I kind of think it was, well, of course, genes, but also because of my dance background and with body awareness, it's very helpful. So anybody for instance, when I'm in my coaching world that I coach, when I ask some of the kids have they had dance before, and when some of the athletes do say, "Yes, I have," then I say, "Okay, come over here. I think you can get the hurdle," because it is easy to learn when you are really, have a lot of good body awareness. So, yes. So as you were saying, I like the hurdles, and then long jumping too. That comes easily also. And but I think it's funny though, because I'll sometimes overanalyze my long jump so much to the point like, that didn't work out today. So, but it's a lot of fun, and I love competing in both and sprints and hurdles and jumps and relays are all my favorites. So just love it. Yeah.
We obviously naturally an athlete, and to jump, as you say, was easy for you. But where does the competitiveness come from? Did you find that you had sibling rivalry, or was it coming from your parents to make you competitive? Where do you think it came from?
No, I think, ever since, they have those middle school field days or grammar school field days, and I ended up winning some of the meets or some of the races. So that was kind of fun. And then, sure, it's fun to win, but it's also fun to challenge yourself. And that's what I found out, too, because competing in high school was about the win and feeling good and focusing and trying to win. But now, as I get older, of course, it's fun to win, but it's also fun to challenge yourself, because I don't mind running with a faster person. I love it, because then it brings out the best in you. to work on a technique and trying to make you compete better, whether it's a world record or whether it's just your PR. It's motivating, and that's why I like to compete and I like to race, because it's nice to challenge yourself to improve yourself.
Now, what about coaching then at the very early start of your career, Joy? Did your dad coach you because he was in the sport, or did you find coaches elsewhere?
No, I was up in the Berkeley Track Club, and it was based at UC Berkeley, and there were terrific coaches, Willie White and Arno Brewer, and those guys started it up, and there were fantastic gals around the Bay Area. Robin Johnson was on it. She's now head coach at UC Berkeley. Frida Cobbs, who was one of the best in the nation in those days. So we had a very, very good coaching staff for a club team, and that was in the summer. And I remember spending a lot of time on the phone with Arno Brewer about, what about this type of workout? What about that? What does this do? What does that do? And so I really questioned, and I wanted to learn a lot about coaching and trying to elevate myself to another level to get the best out of myself with technique. So with that was the beginning. And then I had good coaches in high school. Scott Smith was one of them. And, oh gosh, I've had so many great coaches along the way. Willie White was a club coach, and then Bob McGuire and Marcel Hitu, Don Chu, who wrote the plyometric book, Dr. Donald Chu, on jumps and bounds. When we were in college, our jump squad, were guinea pigs for him to test different bounding and lifting techniques and this and that. And that was super fun because he was very serious on how we were training. And so I learned a lot, and I still talk to him about different training methods and question him on that. And then, then of course, Coach Hunt, I went to track camps, at UC Berkeley, and that we had a lot of fun meeting different great coaches. Ed Miller, who was fantastic. He was at UC Berkeley and a decathlete himself, and has coached multiple decathlon champions and heptathlon champions, and just asking him questions on training. And then when I went into coaching at UC Berkeley, being with these different coaches and just asking questions, and I just loved the sport and seeing improvement so much, not only for myself, but of course spreading the word of track and field, and seeing and coaching and how it helps other people improve, and just the whole technique of that it's just so fun and challenging. I could talk forever about it. Yeah.
Well, obviously you're passionate about coaching, and I want to talk more about your coaching career after, but we go back really to your running career, your racing career first and foremost. But a quick question about coaching. Of all those coaches you mentioned, how many were women coaches when you were racing?
Well, that is a very good question, because I did have one coach my first year, Chris Brown, but she coached at my high school and then went somewhere else. Deanne Vochesser is fantastic. She wasn't my coach personally, but I did consult with her on some items, and she was the Olympic coach in 1996 for Atlanta. I really looked up to her as a coach and respected her a lot, so I could go to her and ask her questions on coaching. So that was great.
Well, all right, let's go back in time then to those early days when you started to realize that you had something that could, some natural talent there that could be breaking records, something not only in your genes, but the technique and the talent to go with it, Joy. And it's been a tremendous career, obviously, for you before you even turned to masters or coaching. Let's pick out some highlights of your younger years and what stands out for you were pivotal in your career.
Well, thank you. I think that when I was a freshman in high school, I qualified for the state meet in the hurdles, the 80-meter lows, and that was a big deal. And I didn't realize it was a big deal. So that was great. And I realized, oh, wow, I'm pretty good at this. So I continued with that. And that was something really fun. And then that was high school. And then we had some relay teams in high school that did well. And like I said, then I started to spread myself out a little bit. I started doing the 400 some more and the 800. And I did okay in my thoughts, but still had a great time and was able to succeed that way. But the highlight, I think, was being a freshman in high school and doing those hurdles. And then later, going to Cal State Hayward, amazing coaching staff. There, I did the heptathlon because they needed me to do that. And so I did that quite a bit. And then also did the 400 hurdles. So a highlight there would be that during one of the conference meets, doing the heptathlon, and then all the trials and finals of both hurdles and the heptathlon. So I think there were like 14 events in 2 days I did or something, maybe more. I was tired, but I was helping the team. So I was really happy about that. And then qualifying for the nationals in the 400 hurdles. So that was great. That made me super happy. But I think what led to master's track is during my college years, I thought I could be better than I was. And I was also a kinesiology dance major. So a lot of times I did like 2 dance classes and then came out and did a track practice. So I was pretty exhausted. And I didn't understand why I wasn't running very fast or I was super tired. But looking back at it, now I understand that why I didn't reach the peak or whatever I wanted to, but that's okay because you always learn from different situations. And so when I did find out about master's track and field, I said, oh, wait a minute. I ran into these guys that were practicing sprints that are older and blocks. And I said, what are you guys doing? They said, we're doing master's track. I said, what? And so they said, yeah, you can run track when you're older. And I said, wait a minute, you can do hurdles and long jump till you're 100? They said, yes. And I said, oh my goodness, that's my thing. So I was very excited and I started running master's track. It was submasters when I was 30 and I haven't stopped since. So, and now I'm almost 60 or 58, or 59. So it's just great. And I just am having so much fun doing it. And I know you talked about what are the highlights of the youth or the younger ages, but I think those few stand out. And then the highlight of those were a realization into, I'm learning something and I could now keep it going.
At what age then did you become a master's athlete? When did you actually transition to that?
At 30.
Okay.
30.
Okay.
30. 30 is sub-masters, 30 to 34, and then you can still run masters. But it's sort of considered, sub-masters because, a lot of the elites are still 30 years old. So, but the title of it is sub-masters in the masters group, 30 to 34, and then 35 and up is considered masters.
And now, what about your chosen races then? Did you continue once you become a masters athlete to do the things that obviously you were good at, you're familiar with, but you were good at too, or did you branch out?
Well, I did the same things. And something else, when I was in college, when I couldn't run the 100 and the 200 anymore because there were girls that were way faster in our division, which is fine, and great. But I realized, well, I can't score in that. So I did well, like I said, in the hurdles and the long jump and the multis. But then when I was in masters, I'm like, hey, wait a minute, I could run the 100 again, and this is fun. So you get to pick what you want to do, and that's why I like doing the 100 and 200 again, like when I was younger. And then I did do the same, kept the same, did the heptathlon for a while and 400 hurdles, and kept it the same.
The coaching side of your career, though, I mean, that's been equally as prolific, it seems to me. I mean, you've achieved a lot, not least of all with your Joy's Jack Rabbits Track Club. Where did you get that name, Joy? I have to ask you where you got that.
Well, I made it up because I just, we were living in the hills in Los Altos, and there were a bunch of jackrabbits, and I said, jackrabbits. Oh, that's really cute. I like that. Joy's Jackrabbits. Yeah. So that's how I decided to do that. And my daughters were super young. I have two daughters, Sunny and Windy. Sunny like the sun and Windy like the wind. And they're super great gals. And they were younger. And I said, I love my sport so much. I want to do something with it still. So I could have a little track camp sort of club. And my club, it's not like the typical clubs you see in all racing USATF groups. Some will race, but my main thing is to teach the sport. And I love this sport so much because what it's given to me on achieving, setting some goals, but then and achieving them, but also socializing and meeting friends, and then focusing on being positive, and then also understanding the sport. So in my Jackrabbits, like I said, it's not just run and just do an event. Is I really focus on the technique, and then I show the history, talk about the history of the event, and then say some of the records of the event. And it's just, I just feel like I'm sort of spreading the word in the Bay Area in the United States here, well, Bay Area, because for the younger kids, for my younger club, because this is where it all started. And so because in the United States, they don't know about track and field so much. I mean, at the sport of athletics, sure, it's huge over in Europe, et cetera, around the world. And track and field, a lot of the people here in the United States know it just during the Olympics. And I really want to help our sport to provide education and information about the sport starting young. So when they do get into it in middle school or high school, or if they do, they understand it and know it, like know what a trail leg is in the hurdle, and know how high the men's Olympic and open hurdle is, that it's 42 inches, and know what a hitch kick is, and know what a hang is in the long jump, for instance, and really, know the sport.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think that's terribly important in any sport, that then it puts things in perspective
exactly.
as well. Well, coaching was obviously a natural transition for you. When did you start coaching professionally?
Well, I'm still coaching. I coach my track club. And it's a class. I mean, there are lessons and all. And then I start, and then I'll do a bunch of private lessons too. So I'm always coaching.
When did that actually start then? When was the beginning of your coaching career?
In 1983. That's when I started coaching it. And I was at Acalanes High School, and I was getting my master's at San Jose State in human performance. And my friend Willie Harmatz, who was the head coach there, and he also has a running store there, he said, "Hey, would you like to coach?" And I said, "I would love to." And so I got into coaching, and I knew that I loved it. And I did know I wanted to coach when I was in high school, because I remember like different things coaches said to me, and I said, well, that's okay. They could be saying something different that would be more motivating. So like that. So I learned good things, and then things I could work on from other coaches to be a better coach. And so when I started coaching in '83, I remembered all those things, and then I was able to improve kids and teach kids, and I just haven't stopped. I just love it. All different levels. I just do. It's great.
Yeah, clearly it is a passion, and you talk about all different levels. You mentioned Grace, your sister, earlier. She was obviously a well-known long jumper, and you helped her. You coached her too.
I did when she was younger. I did help coach her, and then she got our high school record. She had her. This is funny because I've used this lesson in two ways. When she was a senior in high school, and they had their grad night when they graduate, and it's like an all-night dancing and casino night for the high school seniors and all. And then she came home really late. And then the next morning I went into her room and said, "Come on, let's do the track meet down in Los Gatos. It's an open meet and you can long jump in it." And so she's like, "Okay," half asleep. I drove her down there, and she long jumped, and she jumped 19.3, and it was her best ever. And since it was still in the official season of track, she got the school record of that. And mind you, she did go the night before to sleep at like 4 a.m. and I still got her up at 8 and she jumped. So the lesson for that is when some kids tell me now, "I didn't sleep very well last night." I said, well, it matters 2 nights before your sleep, so it's fine. So I'll tell them that. But she did great, and that was a fun little story. And then, of course, she continued in college and did okay. And then she stopped the sport, and then I helped her motivate her to get going again because I knew she had jumps in her. I still did, and she hadn't been in the sport for a few years, and then she went back and started to jump again. And then got connected with different coaches. Edric Floreal, who's at Texas now, he was her coach, and he really helped her to those first Olympics. And she learned from different coaches too, Dan Paff, Mike Powell. And when she had an off year, she asked me if I could, not in an off year, but when Edric needed to focus on his school, on being a head coach at Stanford at that time, she needed somebody to watch her. So I was able to, at that time, to watch her. And she was coaching herself kind of too, but I was giving her back and forth. It was a collaboration, so to speak, and she did really well that year. So that was fun, and we learned a lot about each other. And then we were luckily able to connect with Edric again for her last Olympic year, and she was able to be coached by him. So that was terrific. And it's just great. So, and I worked out with Grace yesterday. I mean, we're super close and do track things all the time. So, yeah.
Well, that's fabulous. And obviously you're spending a lot of time coaching, but what about your own running now? What are you doing, and do you have any plans for any upcoming track meets or big ones even next year?
Well, I just realized last year when I was organizing the end of my season, because now it's over, I love to race. I just love it. And in Masters track, if you're healthy, then race. That's my thinking, because so many times we, any athlete, but older athletes specifically, is we do get hurt. And when you do get hurt, that kind of is your off season, because it makes you reevaluate things and all. And when you're healthy and there's a track meet and you feel like doing it, do it. I don't feel like, I can only race for this long and then this long. I mean, obviously there's different plans and you need to listen to your body, but I felt great this year, and I was looking at all my races and this and that, and I competed in over 60 events, like 100, 200 trials, finals, long jump, relay. And I thought, whoa, 60 times. That's crazy. But it's okay. I loved it, and I had a lot of fun and with it, and it's challenging, and then so with that, in this last year, I was happy about last year and had some great experience. This is not only in racing, but in the coaching, but also now that I've developed my Joy's Jackrabbits Track Club for my master's friends, we have been having a blast, and everybody in it is super positive, and because that's my criteria. You have to be positive, have good posture and good attitude, and love our sport, and it's been great. So I have a lot of great friends that are in it, and so when we plan different trips, I look at Airbnbs and go through, okay, how many rooms do we have? Okay, I can make sure that Colleen's in it, or Debbie's there, and Darla and Brian, or like that, and then we have a great time, a really great time. So with it, it is about racing, but it's about our fun experiences and supporting each other and enjoying our sport. So
absolutely, the social aspect of it. So what are you looking forward to next year, Joy?
Well, next year, I am looking forward to improving what I did on this year. Is working on my hurdles some more, and jumping and sprinting, and just keep focusing on the mechanics and strength and being healthy. Keep doing what I'm doing, and there are some meets, like a bunch of all-comer meets coming up in January and February. We have so many track meets here in California that are outdoor, and we don't have indoor track here. If we wanted to do indoor, we'd go up to Washington, but I did that last year with my friend Debbie. That was super fun because I got to see my daughter, Wendy, who goes to UC Berkeley. She's a great jumper and hurdler, and I got to see her compete up there too, and they had a little masters race. So I fold that in there too, so I'm able to really be a part of her program too and see her. And then let's see. So there's those indoor meets, so I'll do that. And then I was doing, at the end of this year, some 300 hurdles. I do love those, and I wasn't able to run those really last year that much. So I have some friends, Gabby and Angela, I rallied to do Masters Track, and she ran hurdles in college with me. And so it's fun to train with her and these gals that have their goals, because I could do two things: run with my friends, but also help give them tips that I've learned from all my high-level coaching educations and through USATF and our IAAF Academy and other amazing coaches like Ed Miller and Bushek Snyder. And I've learned from Vince Anderson and Andreas Baum and Ralph Mann and Deanne I mentioned, and all these different tips from these great coaches that I could share with my friends and help incorporate to my own performances too. So,
well, clearly passing on the baton to the next generation, Joy. What a wonderful career that you've had and continuing to enjoy. So congratulations on all of that. And thanks for taking the time to come on the program and share your story.
Well, thank you. I just like, that positive experiences for all. And whether you get 4 medals, I make sure I take one, write the thank you note on the back and give it to an official, and another one to a meet director. And I just feel it's important because to have all these meets, they need to be put on. And so I love giving those medals away to those people that are helping, because they do a heroic deed putting these meets on. So it's just fun.
Happy holidays from Wisp Sports.
And if you would like to read more about Joy's amazing career, just head to our website at wispsports.com, and on the drop-down menu at Listen, go down to the Bolder Woman podcast, and there you will find more information. And whilst you're on the website, do check out some of the other coverage that we have here at Wisp Sports. With 46 shows, we have something for everyone around the world of women's sports. And as always, you can join in the conversation by following us on social media at Wisp Sports, or emailing us directly to info@wispsports.com. And if you would like to contribute to coverage of women's sports here at Wisp Sports, then do let us know whether you would like to be a writer or a host of a podcast and would like to see more coverage of your sport. We'd love to hear from you. In the meanwhile, thank you for listening and helping us turn up the volume on women's sports. Goodbye for now.
And every time you hit the wall, remember you can have it all, even the mighty fall. It's closer than it's ever been, and now it's more than just a win. It's where your life begins.